Cedar Foxes. This is WRCE, your Foxes Morning News. I am Brendan. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the South Carolina Pledge. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Now for the South Carolina Pledge. I salute the flag of South Carolina and pledge to the Palmetto State love, loyalty, and faith. Today is Friday, December 7th, and we want to wish Andrew, Matthew, Cameron, and Juventino a very happy birthday. Now here is Kylie.
Today we recognize the 77th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day is observed across the nation. This day is honored of all those who lost their lives during the National at Pearl Harbor. There are more than 3,500 Americans who lost their lives or were wounded on that solemn day. Traditional, the flag of the United States is flown at half-staff until the sunset to honor those who lost their lives serving this nation at Pearl Harbor. Let's turn to Grace with the upcoming Red Cedar events.
Thanks, Kylie. Next week is a busy week at Red Cedar. The pajama drive continues. Winter map testing begins. Monday there is an SIC meeting and the Red Cedar stew ingredient list will go home. Be on the lookout for it. Tuesday is Chick-fil-A and Spirit Night. Thursday is Kids Club. And Friday is the first day of Market Day. Here's a short video about the Red Cedar stew.
So why do we do Red Cedar stew? Well, it's kind of like this. First of all, you can't go wrong if you have some great big pot of boiling really good stuff all together that kind of fits but comes from all sorts of other places and just really works out well together. Which is kind of like us. A lot of us come from lots of different places in the world, and we bring all of our spices and our sassiness and our intelligence and our questions and all sorts of other things and our talents with us, and we come together and share them in a very harmonious way. Harmonious means works well together. But let's think about the stew for a second. So there was this recipe that I saw, and it would make this really kind of neat soup or stew, and the only thing about it was that it was kind of boring because it didn't have certain kinds of spices and vegetables in it, and I didn't even realize that. I didn't know that you could make it better if you put other things in it, things that I'd never heard of, like boniato. I didn't even know what that was. I saw it in the grocery store, but I never paid any attention. And I really should have. And then I talked to some people who were from countries where they had that kind of vegetable all of the time and said, oh yes, oh you should really try it. It's a root vegetable, which means it grows in the ground. You don't see it up high. It's down low. You have to dig for it, like potatoes. So we put that into the stew, into the little recipe of the stew, and it added something. And then I talked to that friend and said, again, do you have any of those other vegetables that I don't know about that might be really good in that stew? And the person said, well, yes, I grew up in Guatemala and we had these other kinds of vegetables here. Let me introduce you to them. So she did, and they're fabulous. And they go along with the cilantro, and they go along with the carrots, and they go along with the celery, and they go along with everything else that is in the stew. So, because it reminded me of us, that we come from all sorts of different places, and we all add a little bit of spice, or a little bit of talent, or a little bit of playfulness, or a little bit of dance, or a little bit of music, or a little bit of technology, or a little bit of something to everybody else's life, wouldn't it be neat to have a stew that did kind of sort of the same thing? So that's how we came to do Red Cedar stew.
Remember to work hard, be kind, and show respect. Have a foxtastic day, and we will see you right back here tomorrow morning.